Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Megan, or some of you might know me as Fit Little Meg. Today's video is going to be all about macros. So I'm going to share with you guys what the heck macros are, why tracking macros can be such an amazing tool, and how you can start tracking macros. Also going to share with you the foods that I eat and kind of why I eat those to hit my macros. Alright guys, so start off, let's just go over what the heck macros are. So macros, or macronutrients, are what we need to kind of fuel our body. So every single thing that you eat is going to be a carb, a protein, or fat, right? We obviously have carbs and fats that are going to be healthier than not, but regardless, everything you're eating is going to fall under one of those categories. So tracking macros is very similar to tracking calories, except for we're going to really track the macronutrients. We're going to break it down between the amount of carbs we're eating, the amount of protein we're eating, and the amount of fat we're eating. That way we are ensuring that we're getting that well-rounded diet and we are eating the right amount of carbs, fats, proteins for our body and for our body's goals. So with our macros, we have our carbs, our protein, and our fats. Now with our carbs, we have our simple carbs, which is going to be like sugar. We also have our complex carbs, which really help our body, give us energy, help us repair our muscles and recover, and really just give us that fuel. Carbs are good, so do not be scared of them. Obviously, having too much simple carbs, that sugar and stuff can be harmful for us, but again, though, complex carbs are super important for us. I personally love having rice. Rice is a great volume food, and what I mean by that is you can eat a lot of it for the amount of grams that's in a serving. So for bigger meals, I'll have 3/4 to 1 cup of rice. 1 cup of rice is about 50 grams, which is a great, it's a good portion, a good amount to eat. Versus when you have like pasta, to get 50 grams of pasta, it's gonna look a lot smaller than rice. So that's one reason I like to eat rice. Also, rice is a very easy to digest carb in our body, and we digest it very fast and easily, so that's another reason I love it. I also love to get my carbs from rice cakes. They're just super easy to make. Cream of rice, again, all this rice. Cream of rice settles super well in my stomach as well. I do sometimes have bread, or I have my simple sugars like raspberries, apples, bananas. Any type of fruit is another great carb for us to have. So we have our carbs, and then we have our protein. I will say most of our population under-eats protein, especially girls. I get on the phone with a lot of women and hear that they're really under-eating protein. And protein is so important for us. It's so important for our muscles. It helps us recover, repair our muscles, and just gives us that energy. With protein, I will say most protein comes from meat. I get most of my protein from eggs, egg whites, steak, and ground turkey. But I know some people get a lot from fish, or vegetarians get it from nuts or lentils and beans and whatnot. With our fats, again, we have those two different types of fats. Fats are going to be a lot healthier for us, and then those fats that come from things that are not as healthy. For me personally, I like to have my fats with nut butter, from avocado, from egg yolk, sometimes some dark chocolate. And then just from my beef, like steak, my lean ground turkey, that will have some fat in it as well. Fat is a great thing to have, especially before a workout, giving you that energy. I will say fat is the longest and hardest to digest in our body. So some studies do say to have most of your fat in the beginning, afternoon portion of your day. I will say I do have fat sometimes at night, and I don't have a problem with that. I do love getting my fats from Halo Top. So there's a little summary of your carbs, fats, and protein, and kind of what you can be eating to fuel your body. So some of us have, goals to really build and gain muscle, right? Then some of us really want to lean out and lose fat. So of course, the macronutrients, depending on your goals, are going to be different. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that everyone is starting at a different journey, right? So for me, for instance, I've been working out for years now. I've gone through cuts, I've gone through bulking phases, so I'm at the point where if I'm eating 2,000 calories, it's gonna look a heck of a lot different than if someone who is just starting their fitness journey and starts eating 2,000 calories, right? So again, the macros, counting macros is a lot more specific for you and for your goal and kind of where you are in this whole fitness journey. So to answer the big question is why track macros? I'm sure you guys know this, but our bodies freaking love consistency, right? We thrive off consistency, and that is with anything in life. When we're consistently on like a routine, we always do better, right? Well, the same is going to be with our diet and what we're eating. You know, our bodies are going to respond a lot better if we're consistently eating 1,500 calories than if one day we're at 2,000, the next we're at 1,000, right? We want to have more of that consistency part, and more specifically, we want to have that consistency with the amount of protein we're eating, the amount of carbs we're eating, and the amount of fat we're eating. Again, we want to make sure we're eating the right amount of carbs, fats, protein for our body and for our goals. And the beauty with tracking macros is that you are going to learn so much about food, about portion sizes, about your body and how your body responds to certain foods, and you're just going to be more educated and more like aware of what it is you're putting into your body and how to properly fuel your body. So I always suggest to my clients that we at least track macros for a few weeks, because like I said, you're going to learn so much and you'll just be more educated and you'll be able to do more of this intuitive eating. You know, I'm at the point where I've tracked macros for a good amount of time that I'm really educated and knowledgeable on the fact of food and what it is I'm putting in my body. So if I'm not tracking, I'm still very aware and I can do a great job. And I feel very confident in my decisions when it comes to eating and portion sizes. So now that we are understanding what macros are and kind of why tracking can be such an amazing tool, I want to teach you guys how you can track and just little things that are going to make it a lot easier. So to start off, you guys, tracking gets easier and easier and easier, right? The first few days you do it, of course it's going to be overwhelming. That's like anything in life. When you first start something brand new, it's overwhelming, right? But it gets easier. So get past those first few days and I promise you, you can do this. So on your phone, you're going to download the app MyFitnessPal. So let me pull this up for you. MyFitnessPal is the app that we are going to use to track our macros, and I'll pop it up there for the screen for you. But basically, when you even log into MyFitnessPal, it's going to help you set up your profile, right? So we're going to ask for your age, it's going to ask for your height, it's going to ask for your goal. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to gain weight? What are you trying to do here? And it will help kind of place you with your macros. I believe it has about 50% on protein, 20% carb, and 20% fat. But again, you can kind of adjust that around. And you know, a good thing to remember too is that we don't need it to be perfect. We just need to have a good ballpark, a good, you know, range of what we're trying to hit. So I always help my clients find their macros. I give them their macros based off a few different things. But when they plug it into MyFitnessPal, it might not be exact. So if they're trying to get 130 grams of protein, it might not let them have exactly 130 with MyFitnessPal. It might be at like 125. But I'm like, that's fine. Again, you know, have it in your head what you need to meet, and it's just more ballpark. My little hint I give my clients is to keep it within that 10 range. So if again you're at 130 grams of protein and you get like 124 or 125 protein, or you get like 128, 129, that's okay, right? We don't need to be exact, we just need to be in that ballpark. So again, you're gonna use MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal will help you set up kind of starting macros, but I do suggest hiring a coach to help you find macros for your specific goal and body type. But, so again, on MyFitnessPal, you will start tracking everything with MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal does start saving foods that you've been eating. So for me, for instance, I always have eggs. So, you know, I go to type in egg, the eggs pop up from yesterday that I had. So it's very easy for me to kind of continue, especially if you're eating around the same amount of foods. Another cool thing is that it has a barcode on MyFitnessPal. So you can kind of scan anything that has a label, like protein bar, cereal. You just scan it, and macros pop right up there for you. The beauty with tracking macros is that you can do it anywhere, right? Most chain restaurants actually happen to be in MyFitnessPal, which is awesome. So if you go out to eat at like Outback, you can just plug in what you're eating and most likely it will pop up. They have a bunch of chain restaurants in there, which is awesome. And of course, if you go out to eat and it's at a restaurant that it doesn't have in there, it's really easy to make a very educated guess. especially if you've been doing it for a little bit. So for me, for instance, if we go out to eat and I order a salmon salad, I can kind of look at it and be like, all right, that's roughly 5 ounces of salmon. I have, you know, there's a half a cup of nuts in there, there's this and that, and I plug it in MyFitnessPal. Again, you know, it might not be exact, but I'm getting at least a ballpark of what I'm eating, so I'm able to really kind of stay within my range. I hope you learned something from this video and you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up so that I know that you liked it, and also be sure to share it with your friends or family. And thank you guys so much for watching.